All right. Hello, YouTube, Twitch. We are a few minutes away from the first ever Team Lotus box vintage Octagon. Basically, it's an 8-player tournament for minor stakes where everyone's putting in $20. The winner gets $100 entry to another one, and second place gets either $20 or re-entry to a future Octagon. Basically, just like you would play a win-a-box tournament at like a Grand Prix or something like that. So shout out to Team Lotus Box who are hosting this via MTG Melee. And I'm pretty excited to get even more vintage content in. I saw the 8 players for this tournament, and it looked incredibly Jeskai heavy. Here are the 8 players. Jeremy, who's a fellow streamer, got Slasher, Yama, obviously another streamer, Amir, Saturn, Joseph Stacko, and then Zio Francone, another streamer. So I expected at least 3 Jeskai players, and I ended up on 1 Breach, 2 Breach, 2 Jeskai, and then I haven't checked out what 5-color combo or 4-color combo means, but I assume they are. I assume they're spicy. And then Yama picked probably the best choice for the tournament, which was Dredge. I tried to play Dredge this week, and I couldn't do it. It hurt too much. So we're not playing Dredge. We're instead playing humans. And you may ask, Justin, didn't you say humans is bad? And to answer that question, I would say yes, I did say that. However, specifically against Jeskai, one of the best possible things you can do versus the current builds of Jeskai is deploy Cavern of Souls Sanctum Prelate on 1, and then they lose their ability to grind, and they also lose their ability to remove your creatures, so your creatures just get very large, and then you kill your opponent. So this is just like a list I have targeted very specifically for an 8-player tournament where I think that everyone will be playing Jeskai. So you're seeing 4 Sanctum Prelates in the main, 4 Dahlia. We're not too bad against Dredge, though. We have 5 Wasteland, 3 Priest, 2 Surgicals, and then hopefully we can get a fighting chance against a shop opponent if that is what Saturn is on with this Force of Vigor setup. So, I mean, you can't cast Swords to Plowshares against humans if they just play a prelate on 1. Like you lose, and you don't have any wastelands in your human prelate your Jeskai deck, so you can't kill a cavern. So it's fine. So yeah, basically that's the idea. The idea is you're utilizing a really powerful vintage play, which is Cavern of Souls Sanctum Prelate, which is not usually done very much because it requires you to be in this somewhat mediocre shell that is hard for you to stand up versus workshops. I think this deck got a little bit better versus workshops recently with the introduction of Force of Vigor and Once Upon a Time, but I still think it's quite bad. So, but like I said, Log, if it's going to be an 8-player metagame and we are expecting 0 workshops in my 8-player metagame, there's no reason not to tailor a list to beat the Jeskai Resident Sleeper pilots. Oh, I don't think that Golo Shops is a bad matchup for this deck. I think this deck is perfectly fine versus Golo Shops. Golo Shops is just not really a playable vintage deck. So it's actually Ravager Shops that has a really good win rate versus this deck. Getting to play a Walking Ballista is quite powerful. No Luminarch Aspirants. I think that Thalia's Lieutenant is typically a bit stronger than Luminarch Aspirant in a deck that actually has enough humans to facilitate it. Did I play my match? Oh. I don't even know. Yeah, like opponent has 1 Teferi to answer a prelate, and that's about it. So they do have 3 Sprite Dragons in the board. All right, let me look at the instructions for feature matches. I am already sharing my screen. I was pinged by a TO. I am the game maker. Can I make game? Can I make game? Question mark. Can I make game question mark? I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna break up this video, by the way. If it ends up being just one video, then I mean it's you know, it's an 8-man single elimination or 8-player single elimination tournament, so um it could be, you know, a 15-minute video, could be a 2.5 hour long video. But I might choose to just keep it all in one block. So don't be alarmed if you only see one video tonight. All right. So I'm just waiting on Honorog to tell me what to do. The minute Honorog tells me what to do, we will do it. Oh. Pairings are published. Feature match don't start. All others can. Okay. All right. So we're chilling, chat. We're chilling. It looks like the minute I go into the match, we probably don't want to be alt-tabbing, so I guess we'll go over our round 1 opponent now, and then we will get set up in the feature match. So, round 1, we are playing against Zio Francone, who is on a breach deck and has been on breach deck for a while, and I expect them to be playing a breach deck in the showcase qualifier, which we are both going to be attending. It's a pretty slim breach list: 1 DAC, 1 Narset, 1 Teferi, 1 Lavinia, 1 Mentor, 2 bolts as removal, and then, you know, typical Underworld breach things. Sideboard plan actually still on Sprite Dragon, even though many players have moved away from Sprite Dragon. So that's something to be aware of when we go to games 2 and 3. It looks like our focus, we actually have really good prelates here. Prelate on 0 is quite strong. Prelate on 1 is great. And prelate on 2 is also reasonable. We're going to be focused on probably prelate on 1 to start, and then prelate on 0 after that. So technically, if you prelate 3, then they would have no more outs. But obviously, they can win through prelate on 1 by doing brain freeze combo. So maybe prelate on 2 or prelate on 0 to stop the combo. So yeah, we're just chilling and waiting for the go ahead from Honorog. But yeah, nothing crazy or super interesting about our opponent's list. Game plan is pretty similar to the Xerox game plan, like the game plan against Jeskai, except for the fact that they have a little bit more game against us in terms of winning through prelate on 1. All right. Now that we got that out of the way, we chilling. I can create the game and I can start. Wonderful. Okay. Constructed. Create game. Waiting for Zio. Anyone can join. Allow watchers. Great team. All right. All right, let's do this, chat. Let's do this. I won the die roll. Very nice. I like to play first. Interesting hand. All right, here we go. So this hand is not the most powerful in restricting my opponent, but has an active cavern, which I think is quite important. And this Once Upon a Time can find us something that is good. Let's see. I think this is a pretty reasonable key for Underworld Breach. We're definitely just gonna lead with Once Upon a Time. Look for like a Sanctum Prelate, or a Thalia, and then we'll just if we hit a Thalia, obviously we'll go Cavern Jet Thalia. But if we don't hit a Thalia, we can just go Cavern Hierarch, and then next turn we have like Hierarch Lieutenant, make a big board, start putting pressure on our opponent. All right, perfect. We found a Thalia. So we're just going to take this Thalia. Going to play a Jet. We're not going to show them Cavern of Souls until after the Jet resolves. Now we'll show them Cavern of Souls, naming Human, and slam with turn 1 Thalia. Next turn, we have Noble Hierarch plus Thalia's Lieutenant, and we're just off to the races, basically. Human. The Thalia's Lieutenant's more important than the Noble Hierarch. I'm trying to figure out if I'd rather grow the Noble Hierarch or would I rather grow the Thalia's Lieutenant. And I'm pretty sure I would rather grow the Thalia's Lieutenant. So I'm actually going to play this first here. And then play the Noble Hierarch afterwards. Now they're welcome to counter this with a Force of Will if they want. All right, had a mental misstep. All right, back. We get nice F6 value as well. All right, now they can play a 1-drop if they want. Maybe a Lightning Bolt on my Thalia. Nope, just a Brainstorm. All right, we have free reign on our turn. We'd like to draw another creature. A Prelate is obviously our best draw. Another Lieutenant or a Mayor are fantastic draws. Another Noble Hierarch is fine. So our Thalia's Lieutenants would give us an extra 2 damage. Our Noble Hierarchs would give us extra 2 damage, but our Thalia gives us extra 3 damage. So we'll just put 6 on the table here.
My dude.
All right, we're on a 2-turn clock. Lightning Bolt on my Thalia. Sure, that looks fine to me. We actually have, if we can draw another Noble Hierarch, we have a lethal turn here. We have 2 pumps on our Exalted, as well as a pump from the Thalia resolving. Another Thalia. Actually, that's 4, so if I just play another Thalia here. And then 7. All right. 1 game versus blue down. All right, so here's where things get interesting. Because opponent is on Breach and not on Jeskai, we should consider things like Deafening Silence and Collector Oof, and even something like Swords to Plowshare for a Sprite Dragon. I'm going to rule that out. I don't really like to play that kind of game plan. So I'm going to look at Collector Oof and Deafening Silence as cards I'm looking to bring in. And then I would like to take out one Once Upon a Time. And I would like to take out, I think I might leave the Jailer in. The reason being is the Sprite Dragons. So I might take out 1 Mayor. Two Once Upon a Time, two Once Upon a Times, and a Bob maybe. I'm basically just trimming. Um, Theoretically, I could keep the Bob and take out like one lieutenant, just trim a mayor, trim a lieutenant, trim Once Upon a Times. Because I'm not bringing in vigor, I don't need to worry about trimming green sources. I don't think you really want vigor here. I think I definitely want to keep Camball and General and all my prelates. I think I want to keep this Jailer for Sprite Dragon. And then I think like the other cards are useful for getting on the ground, and it might not be necessary to play Dark Confidant, to be perfectly honest. Maybe we just want one Dark Confidant and we'll keep 3 Once Upon a Times. Let's try that. I think that's where we want to be. I think there's definitely room to trim in different areas, but for the most part, I think this makes the most sense. And I think Jailer is better than Plow for Sprite Dragon. And I don't like Surgical against Breach combo. I've never been a huge fan, so yeah, I think I'm just gonna submit like this. They're just bringing in maybe Tabernacle and maybe 3 Sprite Dragon and some basics. So nothing crazy from them. Um, hmm. Let's think about this for a second. So I have no Cavern, which is already a step below our last hand. I also have no Thalia and no Prelate. While I do have a turn 1 champion, I do have a Once Upon a Time, which could find us. Sorry. I'm getting pinged. Honorog pinging me? Mm-hmm. Do I have 2? No, 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 no. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. What was I doing? I was debating whether this is a keep. I don't like it. It doesn't have the 8 creatures that I really care about in the matchup for restricting things, and it doesn't have a Cavern. I'm gonna mulligan it. Interesting. This looks way better. I have turn 1 prelate on one probably, and then I can follow up with the Collector Oof. Yeah, I like this hand a lot more. I'm just gonna bottom the Mayor so that I can keep the Canopy to play the Collector Oof. So obviously the downside to casting prelate on 1, well, that's not good, is it doesn't stop my opponent from comboing off, but it does stop my opponent from killing my prelate. Theoretically, I could cast the prelate on 2. I'm just not a huge fan of that. I think prelate on 1 followed up with oof is the best play, because oof will stop the brain freeze combo, and prelate will stop any removal. So interesting. See if this gets countered. I'm gonna name one. And then I'm gonna use this pedal, and I'm going to play oof. Alright. I think we're good now. They're slow on mana. They don't have any removal left in their deck. All they really have is Sprite Dragon and Teferi and Mentor, obviously. But even Mentor is kind of hard to use through prelate on one. So, I'm most worried about Teferi and Mentor and Sprite Dragon. I'm worried about Sprite Dragon slightly. It's a little hard for them to cast spells for their Sprite Dragon, but it's really hard for me to attack through a Sprite Dragon. So. Would Petal be better as an Elvish Spirit Guide? Yeah, possibly. But Petal makes white mana, so it's it's a little bit here and there. Like a Petal can play Athalia on turn 1 off of a Wasteland. So there's pros and cons. This Lavinia. This is Merchant Scroll. Well, Merchant Scroll doesn't want to get Ancestral, mostly because 1, it's not there. 2, prelate on 1, so I assume this gets Gush. Got Dig Through Time, that makes sense as well. I'm looking for a Bob or a Thalia's Lieutenant or a Thalia. I think a Thalia is probably the best draw. Or is still a pretty fast clock, though. I'm not going to crack my Horizon Canopy right away. I don't think that makes sense given the number of 3-drops in my deck. It's like at the end of turn here, I could consider cracking this Canopy to have a better chance of drawing a Thalia, or a Bob or a Mayor or something. I'm not 100% sure that's the plan, though. Especially given we have 3 more prelates, a Kudrow, and a Camball, which are all fantastic draws. And also, like, if they do play a Sprite Dragon, we do want to have 4 mana to play a Palace Jailer. I think the worst thing that can happen to us is they found their Teferi. Would be the worst thing. And so I can consider cracking Horizon Canopy. But like I said, I think having the ability to draw 3-drops is worthwhile. I think I would be willing to crack it next turn if I like draw a land or something. All right, we drew Palace Jailer, which makes things even more interesting. Now we need to greatly consider if we are supposed to be cracking these lands. If I were to crack one now, we would be 2 turns away from Jailer if they deployed a Mentor or a Sprite Dragon. I don't think I'm going to crack. It's going to be Dig Through Time. So here they can find a Teferi or a Jailer or a Mentor or a Sprite Dragon, which is obviously a problem. Our hand had 2 good restrictive cards, but not much else. Just had a bunch of fast mana to do it very early. It's possible I was supposed to crack. I don't know. It's a tough call. It's a really tough call. Because of how good all of our 3-drops are, it's really hard for me to crack a Canopy there. I might still crack a Canopy this turn, depending on what opponent does. If it's not something I need to Jailer, I think it makes a lot of sense to crack a Canopy. It's a Sprite Dragon. It's a Dak Vaden. Narset. Looks like it's Teferi then if they mistapped. We see white tap here, then it's probably Teferi. I mean, I guess it could be Mentor as well. All right, blue, red, blue is Narset or Teferi. Or sorry, Narset or Dak Vaden. All right, Dak Vaden. This is going to help them dig towards Teferi. I'm going to crack at the end of turn, I believe. And I think it's very unlikely that I attack Dak Vaden. I really want to find a Lord this turn to make it a 2-turn clock. All right, didn't find anything, but that's not a big deal. All right, can I get a Lord? Through a Wasteland. That's interesting. Interesting. Hmm. I'm definitely not attacking this deck. If they have to crack this fetch, then any Lord can give us lethal, so... I will crack this Canopy, I think, to give us the best chance of drawing lethal. If they crack, I guess. If they don't crack, I don't think there's a good reason to. The Fairy? Yeah. I assume this bounces either Collector Oof or... I guess it bounces Collector Oof and they try to kill me right away. If they don't have a kill right away, we do have Cavern Oof here. They just have Lotus Brain Freeze. Alright. They found their one answer in their deck. Happens. Huh. If we had drawn off our first Canopy, we probably win this game with Athalia. Kind of interesting. I don't know about this. Yeah, if we had cracked our very first Canopy, we would have gotten to Thalia on that turn. Close. That's just the power of Xerox. Even without Preordain, they were able to power out a Delve spell and find Teferi, as well as, like, they had to find both Teferi, Brain Freeze, and Black Lotus and Breach, and they found all 4 pieces, so... Alright, well, that's okay, though, because we're going to be on the play. We didn't have, like... We had a pretty strong hand, but didn't draw super well afterwards, so... I think on the play, I'd rather just take out this Palace Jailer and play like a Bob, maybe. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Dig can miss. 7 cards is a lot of cards, but digs can always miss for sure. One of the things Joe Brennan taught me. I said, I gotta counter this dig, and he goes, you can draw 7 blanks. I was like, oh, I guess you can, huh? But not that time. To be fair, they had turn 1 Ancestral, and a Merchant Scroll. You know, they had turn 1 Ancestral, to be fair, right? That's the kind of the big thing. If we were on the play, obviously we had turn 1 uncounterable prelate to counter the Ancestral, so uh it happens though, it happens. Let's just go. Let's battle. We're looking for turn 1 uncounterable Thalia, turn 2 uncounterable prelate, and just go from there. How about that? All right. I would like to play first. That one's no good. I would probably keep it if I had a Thalia. That way I could go champion Thalia. But yeah, this one's no good. There's a Thalia's Lieutenant in the board. I want a Thalia Guardian of whatever. Alright, I'm gonna mulligan this hand. Interesting. Interesting. I think this is a keep. I'm gonna bottom the Lieutenant, and I'm gonna go Cavern on Human Noble Hierarch, I think. That way, it does forego a Dark Confidant. But it lets me play Deafening Silence on the next turn, and then future Collector Roof. I'm gonna lead with this Jet here though, and see if I can get it countered. Because theoretically, opponent wants to use counter spells on my Jet. If this gets Lightning Bolted, it's quite bad. But we can at least refill with the Dark Confidant. Interesting. So I have 4 mana on this turn. I could go Collector Oof. Go over Deafening Silence on this turn. But I think that's worse. This lets me still play. I guess I can always play a 3-drop next turn, so maybe not. They just have a Mentor. I don't have a Jailer left in my deck anymore. Kind of fucked up. If I had gone Collector Roof, this wouldn't have happened. All right, whatever. We're gonna get 1-outered again. This sucks. It's really awful. Mentor ruins a lot of things. I don't even know if I want to play this Collector Roof right now. I think I'm going to, though. I won't play it out. It sets me up to not play spells next turn to flip my mentor, or my mayor, per se. They still have the ability to, like, lightning bolt my Bob, and I'm, like, dead, so... Mentor is gonna beat us, I think. It's unfortunate, because, like, we have so many good options versus our opponent, but there are really no good options versus Mentor. Keeping in Jailer is, like, not great, and boarding in Swords is, like, really dumb, so... You can't really have cards that battle against Mentor. Just because it's, like, not a facet of their deck, it's just one card, right? Alright, so if they don't have a spell on our turn, we're gonna flip our Mayor, I think. Wait, should we just play this on 1? That might be better than flipping our Mayor. I think we're supposed to play this on 1. I'm willing for him to trade my Bob here still. We might win this game. We might beat Mentor. If they want to trade their Mentor away, it's fine by me. If they don't find a spell that doesn't cost 1... Oh, they have fucking Tab. But we have the Wasteland. Nope. They didn't find a spell either, so our Mentor flips. Wow. I feel like I'm supposed to play that too. This thing attacks as a 4/4, and they can't play 1-drop spells. All right, let me just send that in. What's the best name? Is it 2 or is it 3? Probably 3. Obviously, there's only 3 cards on 3, but one of them's that Teferi. And we get a wolf. So as long as they don't have second Tabernacle, I think we win. These were very, very good top decks. Yeah, we have their thing. Yeah. We have their deck list. They have, like, Sprite Dragons, some nonsense. Alright, I guess we're gonna name 2 and be protected from Tabernacle. I mean, we've top decked, I think, the best possible card at every opportunity. 2 only stops Breach, so I might not even name 2. I might name 8 or something. Let me go look. We have 1 name, 2 stops Breach, Time Walk. Demonic Tutor. 8 stops Digs. I'll just name 2. It helps for later if something bad were happening, but I don't think anything bad can happen from here. Next turn, we'll just attack with everything. Maybe. I don't know. By a Sprite Dragon or a Gush, sure. Not gushing on our turn is, like, really rough for the opponent. Like, you really want to... In this kind of matchup, you really want to save Gush for my turn, because it's a spell like he can play on my turn, but, must have just had nothing. I think we'll just attack with Wolves. Mentor or Howl Pack Alpha? Which one is stronger? So if he has a spell on his turn, he has 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, this is lethal, but I'm pretty sure it's just lethal. But 1, 2, 3, 4. I would deal 8 damage to him, but I don't really want to risk that I'm bad, so I'm just gonna attack with Wolves. Alright, they're done. Preying on poor, helpless Xerox players. I didn't think we were gonna win that game, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really thought that the Mentor would kill us, but we did draw perfects, so...